I don't want to jinx myself here, but I might have finally figured out the correct lighting for this room. It looks good, sort of. I look like a mess today, but that's okay. It looks good, but I guess I won't know for sure until editing, because editing is always a surprise on lighting, but so many lamps and so lack of knowledge on how to use them apparently. And if I could just figure out the lighting and keeping the dog in the frame, that would be even better. Anyway, there you go, there's a dog. But then that's off-centered. Okay, we're going back to here. Anyway, so today I wanted to talk a little bit more about dog food and cat food. I know, it's frustrating. Which, thank you, Gypsy, that's exactly where I'm going with on this. You know, I do have other videos already up regarding types of food and what I feed and stuff. I mean, food discussions when it comes to pets, I think, is almost a never-ending thing. But recently I noticed you know, some of the foods that I'm feeding my dogs, they've been turning their nose up at it. They've been having some diarrhea issues. And also today I took Fang to the vet just for his checkup, and it was discussed about switching his food because he's having such issues with keeping it down. But the reason there's always food discussions with Fang is because he only has 4 teeth left, and that's because he had stomatitis a few years back, so we had to get surgery to remove his teeth. But all these little food things that we're discussing, again, currently in our home, I figured I would kind of discuss it here, because it leads to the whole thing of why it's so hard for me to suggest food to you guys. I know a lot of people ask, you know, what brand should I be feeding my dog? What type should I be feeding my dog? What treats should I be feeding my dog? And that's a really hard question to answer because, for starters, what works for my dogs might not work for your dogs. I don't know if your dogs have allergies and stuff like that. And there's also the fact that the pet food industry can change ingredients without warning, and that's one thing I've been noticing about a couple of food brands that I use. That what are we on alert about? Because we hear Fang Fang? Is that what your ears are up and you're like, I hear the kitty? Stay calm because the lighting's okay today. Your adorable dingo-ness distracts me. Ingredients, yes. So the pet industry can change ingredients in the food without telling. They don't have to tell us. I don't even think there's laws about them having to tell us if they change the food or not. But I'm bringing this up because I was reading an article that was stating that possibly one of the brands that I use is now using a bunch of corn fillers because they can't get the original ingredients for that original recipe for it. So I'm not sure what happened with my dog's foods recently. I noticed that they're not turning their nose up at the new bags of food that we have, and so far, you know, the poop's looking a little bit better. But that's why it's hard to suggest things. It's because, you know, I could suggest something to you, then the company changes it or has something weird, and then I feel responsible, you know. But that's one thing I wish the pet industry would get their kind of act together about, because it's like, by now, they should know how to give good food. It just drives me nuts. It drives me absolutely crazy because I feel like I find something that's working and that I really love, and then it gets recalled or it causes issues. And that's not just with the cheap, crappy brands of dog food. That's like, you know, the expensive, high-end, fancy crap that's out there. There was one particular brand that I was feeding for a really long time, and I found out that some dogs were dying on it. Now they're linking that one to heart disease. It's all kinds of stuff. I think everything's just killing us at this point. Like, we're all screwed. Think positive. We shall live forever. Right, Gypsy? We'll live forever. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be looking into new brands for the dogs soon. I am going to be trying some new cat options to see if it helps Fang Fang. It's either the food or it's because he's grooming himself so much. That's why he's vomiting. So we have to figure out like what's causing him to upchuck so much, because this has been going on even before the hot weather. And what's really also frustrating is when you do suggest to people, or not suggest, when you do tell people what you use is getting bashed for it. That thing, that I can't stand, because it's like, I'm a firm believer on you feed what you can afford, because I would rather see you feed your dog than not feed it anything. Even if it's Alpo, and I can't stand that brand. I don't even know if that brand's around anymore. I just never liked the outcome of Alpo. Feed the best you can, period. Like that's like my main motto in life for all my pets. I mean, I've even had people give me crap about the cat food I give my cats. And if you know anything about cats, they're the worst to try to feed anything healthier to. Like, they're just a pain in the butt on trying to get them to eat better. I think it's great to share information on what brands you use with each other. Like, I don't understand the hate. It's like, again, untwist your panties, calm down. People don't need to get so angry over stuff. We're all trying to do the best we can with what we can, you know, stuff like that. And then I know there's a lot of people that get on the high horse of like, well, that's why I home cook, and that's why I do raw, or that's why I do this or whatever. You know what? Have you seen chicken prices? I mean, I can barely afford chicken for our dinners, let alone feeding this many puppies, you know, but I still try to feed them good stuff like that when I can. But my point is we do what we can, and the pet industry doesn't make it very easy. And I went on like a binge of like looking up stuff the other night before I even took Fang in for his checkup, because I was checking the food. That's another thing. It's like when you're a pet parent, you always seem to have to check the food, because I've had brands I've been using for years, and all of a sudden something changed in my dog, the way they reacted to the food, like they wouldn't eat it. And then I look at the label and I'm like, well, when did they add that? You know, there's tons of resources out there, but then it's like, how do you know which ones are legit? How do you know which studies are for sure? You know, I mean, some of them you can tell, but, and I know there's like the Dog Food Advisor website thing that seems to keep up to date on stuff, but it's just frustrating. It's really freaking frustrating. I just wanted to share my frustration with you guys. This would have been a lot angrier video if I would have done it the other night, because I was so like livid. Like, what do you mean they changed the recipe? Like, don't do this to me again. Like, and then some people yell at you about certain things in the ingredients, and you go and look it up and realize, okay, it's a natural way of keeping the food together, or it's a natural way to thicken the sauce. I mean, it can become this rabbit hole that just, it's never ending. But like I said previously, bottom line, my philosophy in life, feed what you can afford, feed the best possible healthiest food you can afford. Bear with the healer mama as I try to learn to speak English properly. And just keep an eye on your dog. I mean, if your dog's showing good signs, has a good healthy coat, no health issues, no poop problems, no vomiting, seems to enjoy the food it's eating, then you're fine. You don't have to let people bully you into feeding the way they want you to feed. I mean, we're all trying to do our best for our dogs. Okay, I had to do a little puppy break because look how cute she is. I try my best to get like treats and stuff that just has stuff listed that I understand. Meaning like, you know, this is just chicken, blueberry, turkey, you know, normal English words, not the really hard ones that are hard to pronounce like, and that you've never heard of before in your life that you have to do like a Google search. So I try to stick with those things for treats and stuff like that. I used to do Zooks for training, and dogs didn't like them anymore because they changed their recipe. Again, recipe changes. It makes it so hard to suggest things to people because it's like, oh, we did use this and we loved it and now it's crap now, or the dogs think it's crap, or something. If I was going to suggest any food brands, here are just some of the food brands I currently use. I use one specifically for kibble. The rest I use for wet food options, along with some of the treats I buy from these brands as well. If you follow my videos, you know I'm a mixer, so I like to mix up the wet food options because I also do home cooking and stuff for them sometimes too. Or if there's a new brand I want to try out, I add it to the kibble. But these are just some options for you. I think we used to like Nutro too. I don't remember anymore. I think there's also a new one called Nulo. Nilo? Nulo. I don't know. See, there's another thing. I keep popping all these brands and it's like there's too much. And if you do have a specialty pet store near where you live, most of them will take the stuff back if your dog doesn't like it. So that's something else to keep in mind because, thanks Clea. Are you comfy down there? But that's something else to keep in mind. You know, if you buy a bag of food or buy some treats, you know, and you bring it home and your pup doesn't like it, you know, puts its nose up to it or just refuses to eat it at all, most of these pet stores will take it back. Or they'll at least trade it in for something. Most of the time they take it back. I've got like 3 pet stores here that actually will take the food back if the dog doesn't eat it. So that's something to keep in mind too when you're trying to figure out what your dog likes to eat. So I said my piece for today and, you know, vented a little bit. I'm sure there's gonna be another food video again. Like, I think this is my third or fourth one, but that's okay. But if there's a dog food brand that you absolutely adore and you think other healer parents should try it out, please leave a comment down below, because, you know, my suggestions aren't the end all be all. Who knows, I might need to try a new brand again. Another healer parent might find that brand beneficial to theirs too. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to click all the buttons. I will link the other food videos. Yes, the bird is screaming. My day is not over. And yeah, click all the buttons, and we will see you next time. Yeah, I've got cookies, and they're healthy ones too. I can read the ingredient label. You wanna come show your face? Come here. Come here. Show your pretty faces. There we go. There we go. You know what else we gotta do, right? Besides take care of the birds, we gotta go for a WLK. See? Do you wanna go for a... Do you see your eyes? Do you wanna go for a... a waffle? Do we need to go for a walk? I can't believe you're so calm about it. They know not to knock over the lights. Do you see how focused she is? Look at that woo-woo. Look at you. You girls are so sweet. Yes. Oh, you want more loves, more loves. I don't know, maybe this is a good spot to do the videos. You can see my dogs better this way.